The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Danberg. Ohio State football is 2 days away from facing Texas at Ohio Stadium. Tune into the Ryan Day Show up next on The Fan. Week 1 of the college football season starts tonight, beginning with number 25 Boise State in South Florida at 5:30. Ohio teams in action. Ohio visits Rutgers. Bowling Green hosts Lafayette. Akron welcomes Wyoming. Miami, Ohio travels to Wisconsin. And Cincinnati plays Nebraska at Arrowhead Stadium. NFL, Cleveland and Cincinnati made moves Wednesday. Browns claimed running back Raheem Sanders and defensive back Jarek Bernard Converse off waivers, while signing quarterback Bailey Zappi and 5 others to the practice squad. Bengals sent veteran guard Dalton Reisner to the roster. He's made 81 career starts. Baseball today, Cincinnati Reds and Cleveland Guardians both off. In tennis, round 2 of the U.S. Open continues. Men's world number 1 Jannik Sinner battles Alexei Popyrin at 1. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
From Learfield, this is the Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with head coach Ryan Day and former OSU All-American Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Well, thanks for joining us for the kickoff of the football season and our radio shows. And Ohio State getting ready to begin the year hosting Texas on Saturday. Coach Day, thank you as always. Version at least 100, as we were discussing before he started. Certainly it's got to be anxious for the team now to be ready to go up against somebody else after all the weeks of camp.
Yeah, no, it is. But, just thinking about, how many times we've done this radio show now, and we got to be north of 100. And, it's a great tradition to come down here into the Woody Hayes, into the atrium here in the lobby and see all the folks here and then, be here every week with you guys. And so, as we start a new season, I just want to, say how much we appreciate all your guys' work, your support. It takes everybody. And so, when you think about, kind of last year and where we were, your support and being there all along the way meant a lot to our players and a lot to the team. But, yeah, to start this season with such a big game is great, man. It's great for our program. It's great for our fans. It's great for college football. And Texas has a great team. Rare that you would play an SEC team late in the season like we did and then start next year with the first game. And so it's been obviously circled on the calendar for a long time, which affects our preseason. The way that we practiced, how we practiced, being ready to play in this first game is important. And so, I was thinking about, waking up this morning, Julian saying, first start, Texas at home, number 1 team coming into the Horseshoe. Here we go. And so our guys are really excited about this one. And we talked a lot, too, about just having no expectations. Like, the only expectation is to win a game. Because when you have first games like this, you can find yourself, getting yourself all worked up and trying to play the game before it happens. And we can't do that. We got to play really, really hard with no expectations. And we have to make sure that we're not beating ourselves. That's the first step a team takes. And, again, great week of preparation and about 48 hours out.
Well, Coach, first of all, you look around this atrium. You got rid of the sofas, the love seat, the cocktail table, and you added a few more trophies. So that's always a good news, especially that one right there in the middle, the national championship one. But, Coach, when you get to this point and you have 20-some preseason practices, guys want to hit somebody else. They're tired of going against our defensive line, the O-line, wide receivers going against the DBs, running backs against the linebackers. It's time for another game, and certainly that's going to be here. But, when you're playing back in January, playing Texas in the Sugar Bowl, you probably didn't, or in the Cotton Bowl, you probably didn't think, okay, you weren't thinking about this, but now here it is. And, it's not really a rematch because you had 14 guys go to the NFL. Texas had 12. But it's still 2 great football programs that I got a lot of they're going to be facing off, and I'm sure you're happy it's in Ohio Stadium.
Yeah, that's for sure. But it's a whole different team, and they have a different team, we have a different team, and I think for our guys who have played, in these environments before, they know what to expect. For the guys who haven't, they don't know. And so what we have to do every day in practice is try to create an environment that's as much game-like as possible and then go from there. But like you said, it's we've had enough of practice. Like we need to figure out where we're at. We've made a lot of assumptions in certain areas. Some of those assumptions will be accurate. Others won't. We've got to have contingency plans in place for what happens on Saturday. And then we go from there. It's the start of a new journey.
You've talked about how camp has been edgy. Is some of that because of who the opponent will be in week 1?
I think it's just the makeup of our team. you guys, it's well documented now. The minute the last year got over, I mean, our guys were moved on, and they were like, "This is our team. We haven't won anything. We want to go, win a national championship with this group right here." That's just kind of the way they are. They want to compete every day. They like to compete. They're an edgy group, so that part's good. But when you have a number one team in the country coming in with the type of talent they have, it obviously has our attention and has from the jump. And we talk all the time. This is the reason why you come to Ohio State, for games like this. And during the recruiting process, we talk about games like this, and this is what obviously has our guys' attention now.
Coach, there's been change. For Texas, they're going to have their same two coordinators that you faced off against last year. For you got two new coordinators, but that's kind of part of football. Each year is a little bit different. You're going to have some new faces. How has that all worked out, having the two new coordinators? Of course, Brian's been in the room for a long time, but bringing Matt in, how has that all worked out, and did you like what you see throughout training camp?
Well, we're going to find out how it is. Yeah, real quick. We got some really good guys, I feel like, in terms of chemistry of our staff right now. Now we got to go put it on the field and figure out where we're at. But Matt has stepped into a situation that I think he's done a great job of building trust and relationship with the guys in that room, because rare do you come in as a defense coordinator and kind of already have the staff in place. He did bring in some of his own guys to help, but this has been a lot of learning for him just about our culture. But this is a guy that has a tremendous background. He's very, very intelligent. He's coached at the highest level. He's won Super Bowls, and he's been a head coach before. And so it's been great to watch him kind of just pour into our staff, pour into our players. And it's been good for me, too, to have somebody there that's been a head coach and has been, competing at the highest level. Brian, I've said this before, this is the next step in his progression. He's been working really hard. I thought he did some of his best work last year in the playoffs. He and Tyler Bowen, Keenan Bailey, Billy Fessler, Carlos Lachlan, everyone's working together hand in hand to put the stuff together, put the right plan together based on the personnel that we have, because that's what's important. Just because maybe we've done something in the past doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right thing to do with our players. And so, we've worked hard on that, getting organized, putting the game plan together, and here we go. And, we're going to get a lot of great feedback in this first game. That's one of the most positive things about, obviously, the atmosphere and everything like that is great. But coming out of week one, we'll have some great information to move forward with.
Staffs are bigger now. How do you take all of that input and streamline it into where you need everything to go?
I think if you watched our practice, you would say we get a lot of feedback. And when we don't have a ton of people come through practice, but every once in a while, Jim comes through, and we have different people come and watch practice. And it's great to get feedback of what they see, because we're in the weeds. We're just kind of grinding every day, and then it's good to step back and just ask, what do you see? And a lot of the feedback I get is that practices are moving, man. Everybody is moving. There's something going on. There's just a great energy at practice, and a big part of that is the staff working together. And everybody's bought in. Everybody's bringing great energy to the table, and it's important when you have a lot of guys, because the message has to be aligned. And I constantly remind the staff that the number one job of an assistant coach is to say the same message as the head coach, to echo that, to be aligned with that, then with the coordinator, then with the position coach, and then motivate young players. And so as long as everyone understands what that means and making sure that the communication is clear, it gives our guys a chance to play with focus and with no distractions.
Last week I got a chance to watch at the stadium your dress rehearsal, so to speak, and I saw your staff both working both sides of the ball, but what also caught my eye was the scout teams. I mean, you got 5 or 6 coaches, helping out with each scout team to make sure that they're doing their job, which I think is so important to get those type of looks that you want. And, I know Tavian St. Clair, seeing him run that scout team offense, I think he's doing a good job. And you can see the growth by him, being the third-team quarterback, getting a lot of good reps against quality opponents.
Yeah. Everybody's got to do their job. And after we get done with, when kind of preseason breaks, that's when we have our meetings to figure out kind of where are you in the depth chart. If you don't like it, change it. But this is your role, and you have to embrace your role. If your role is to be the backup holder, if your role is to be the starting right guard, if your role is to be the scout team, will linebacker, you need to embrace that role, because we need everyone to do their job. And when you're talking about scout teams, they can be so important, because the looks that they're giving are accurate to what you're going to see on Saturday. You can work out a lot of issues, and you can prepare our guys to anticipate. And that's really good. But it also allows them an opportunity to grow their confidence, because like you said, when Tavian was playing at Bell Fountain, he didn't have, Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry and Caden McDonald pushing the pocket in front of his face, and guys like Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, sitting in some of the windows, and IGB, driving on a comeback. So for him, it's unbelievable. As long as you embrace it that way, I think nowadays so many guys, want to rush to getting on the field when the right thing to do is just develop and embrace every day to get better. And so the scout team is a great opportunity for guys to do that, but also do their job to help the team win.
If you have a question for Coach Day, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on Ryan Day Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com. An equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And Saturday, Ohio State hosts Texas. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 10:30 a.m. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit uhm.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender, NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeyes sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners, with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show with Coach Day as Ohio State gets ready to begin the season with Texas on Saturday. And it is time now for our Elk and Elk 2 Deep report, presented by the injury lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And, Coach, that kind of leads to asking about the competition you've had at different positions and how it's helped sharpen people as well as establish depth.
Yeah. Everyone does better when there's competition there. And it was good to set the depth chart a little bit and give guys some feedback on where they are so that they can now kind of settle into their roles. But yeah, when anytime you have that type of competitiveness at certain positions, it just brings out the best in you because you got to bring it every day. So it's been good. It's been good to build depth, and also, like in particular, maybe like the offensive line, move guys around and play some guard. Guys can play tackle. Guys can go from center to maybe guard, and that's helped us as well. And then also in the back end defensively, nickel, corner, and then playing some safety. So the more versatility you have, the more depth you'll build.
Yeah, you learned that last year the hard way, when guys getting hurt on that offensive line. So you went through spring, bouncing guys around, playing multiple positions, and that's only going to help them in the long term. I mean, having the ability to play guard and tackle, it's hard to first center usually to play tackle, but, most of those places are positions you can move around. Offensive line, you rotate a little bit, but we know you're going to rotate a lot on that defensive line. And, you look at Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, then you got C.J. Hicks, Bo Atkinson, Logan George might be in that mixer. You got a few guys that you can throw out there and keep those guys fresh to put the pressure on the quarterback. And I'm sure that'll be the same game plan for Larry Johnson again this year.
Yeah, we're going to need to do that. And, that's important to make sure that we have the right guys out there at the right time. But, the guys who deserve to play are going to play. And the more we can roll these guys, the better off we're going to be. As you know, they have to find the rhythm of the game, and they have to be able to make adjustments as the game goes on. But when you can roll guys, then the guys can be fresh, especially in the fourth quarter. So that's why we've been working so hard in the preseason to make sure we have that. And I think we've worked on it, but now it's time to get on the field and figure out what it looks like.
And you've had Zion Grady look like him playing a little bit of Colin Simmons. Number one, what kind of player he is. You went against him last year. He had 9 sacks, 48 tackles from the Longhorns. You had him, kind of emulating a little bit of what he does and moving some different guys. I saw a few number ones out there on the defensive line just to try to give your guys on the offense the best look that they can get.
Well, he's a guy you better know where he is. He's a game wrecker. He's fast and athletic off the edge. He's got a great explosiveness, and he'll be a year older now. So what you see on film, it's going to be moving faster and more powerful than it was last year. And same thing with the Mike linebacker. I mean, he's fast, and so we try to do the best we can to make sure everyone knows exactly where he is, and then guys like Zion to really give us that look to make sure that he's replicating what they're going to see in Saturday.
We'll start with some of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions, and we always appreciate everybody submitting those in advance. Ray from Medina asking, is there a special skill set that is developed in defensive backfields that can create for more interceptions?
Well, I think the coverage and the rush always has to work together. And I think that's important. And I think when we hit our stride last year, that was going on. And when the coverage can cover these guys up longer, it allows more time for the defensive line to get home. When the defensive line is forcing the quarterback to either throw off his back foot because of the push, or hurry a throw and throw it maybe a little bit faster than he wanted to, boy, that can create a lot of problems. Tip balls certainly is huge. And then, making sure that, we're doing a good job in zone coverage of spacing things out, reading the quarterback's eyes, and then making a break on the ball. So it's everyone to be in a part of that. And certainly when we have opportunities to get our hands on balls, we want to catch them. It's one thing to get a BPU, it's another thing to get an interception.
You had key interceptions last year. You had 10 of them throughout the course of the year. But, Davis Nigmanosen getting that interception at Penn State, right there in the end zone, that was huge. Caleb Downs against Texas, to seal that deal was huge. Those are the moments you want to have, those key plays. And, numbers-wise, you like to have one or two a game. Sometimes it works that way. Some seasons it doesn't. You look at Texas. They had 22 interceptions last year, led the nation. So, they had a year like that last year.
Yep. And they do a very good job on defense. They really take advantage of poor execution. And that's where, like we've talked about it before, we can't beat ourselves. And a big part of that is ball security on offense, is taking care of the football. And then on the other side of the ball is creating turnovers, especially in week one when you haven't played a game yet. So it's something we've been hammering with our guys over and over again. We want to make sure that, they understand how important the ball is going to be in this game. And then we got to get to the ball on defense and tackle. And when guys are running to the football and tackling physically, good things happen.
From the defensive side, what's it been like having a second full year of Caleb Downs back there in the backfield?
They call him Coach Downs. I mean, he's a guy who, knows exactly what's going on every play and gets everybody in position. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is the communication when he's in there, is that everybody's on the same page in the back end. And his play speaks for itself, but it's the other part of it. He makes everybody better. How do you make everybody better as a leader? It's the communication, making sure everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be. And a lot of that is the work in the off season. A lot of it's the work, in the classroom, making sure everybody's prepared and bringing guys along with him. That being said, we know he's a playmaker. He can run downhill and tackle well. We're going to need him to tackle well in this game. He covers. And then obviously he gets guys in the right spot.
I noticed throughout training camp, Caleb on defense, Jeremiah on offense, you kind of manage your reps, so to speak. They've played a lot of football. Jeremiah had played a lot his freshman year. So you can, be smart with those guys when you go throughout practice.
Yeah, and really going into spring, we got done with the season so late, and then spring ball was on us fast. we really had to differentiate the guys who had played from the guys who hadn't played. So it was a very physical spring for us for the guys that hadn't played before. But the guys like you're talking about who has had over 1,000 snaps in their career, you're trying to put them to the side and make sure they're ready to go here for this first game.
Speaking of Jeremiah Smith, Austin in Plain City asking from our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. With the job that Texas did on him last year, how do you balance the priority of getting the ball without getting all sideways with a game plan?
Yeah, well, I think we all know when the ball's in his hand, good things happen. But they also know that too. So that's how it works. And so he makes everybody on the field better when he's on the field. It's our job to make sure that, if they're going to put two guys in coverage, we're running the ball. If they're going to put, two guys in cover them, we're throwing a one-on-one to another receiver. Guys, they have to step up and do their part to create that balance. But then at the same time, we also have to make sure we find ways to make sure he's touching the ball, because as we know, when he's touching the ball, it's obviously good for the Buckeyes. So there's this balance here. And we always want to have balance, running the ball and then throwing the ball. So one of the keys for coaches is to get their playmakers the ball, and so we're going to make sure we do that.
The key thing, too, around Jeremiah, you see Carnell Tate, the way he stepped up, especially the second half of the year. You lose a Mecca, but you got a guy like Brandon Innes who really stepped up. You're seeing Mylan Graham, starting to get some of those reps, and some of the other young guys proving that they can be out there. It's hard to double everybody, right? Especially when you got a tight end like Max and Will and Jelani in there. You have to really, as a quarterback, you got to find the open guy in a hurry.
That's it. And we got to make good, quick decisions and make routine plays routinely. We've talked about that a lot at quarterback, but we know he's going to gather a lot of attention. So there's going to be opportunities for other guys to make plays.
Julian Sand, where has he sharpened his game? Where's he taking it forward?
I think, really since he was named the starter, you can see his confidence building every day. He's built his body up better. He understands what he's doing on the field better every day. He's got more and more of a command of the offense. And Lincoln's done a good job, too. Lincoln's one snap away from getting on the field. So we know how important quarterback play is going to be in every game, this game included. But excited for him to get his first start. And like the other guys, don't get yourself into a situation where you need to come out and throw for 400 yards or, you're putting all these expectations on. Just win the game. If it's 4th and 2, you got to get 3. You got to finish off drives. We got to do a good job in the huddle. We got to make sure we're all on the same page and make sure we're playing clean football.
Yesterday at practice, I saw you talk to the team a little bit about that. Hey, recognize zone. Is this zone coverage? And then, the down and distance. We need 5, so you need 6. So, let's find a way to get the first down, to get a fresh set of downs. And, that's so important. Sometimes the young quarterbacks, you want to make a big play down the field. We only need 5 or 6 to get another fresh set of downs.
That's right. And this is a very good defense, and they do, like even last year, they take advantage of poor execution. So we got to make great decisions. And, when they play man-to-man, we got to win against the man. When it's zone, we got to catch that ball and knife, and then obviously we got to get downhill in the run game, and then we get our chance to get the ball in our perimeter. We got to do that as well.
Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day Concert Series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena at Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Bucks and beat cancer. More with Coach Day when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Love your Buckeyes? Love Donato's Pizza? Love cookies? Then you're really going to love this. It's Donato's new Buckeye Cravings Combo. A large one-topping pizza served up with 4 decadent peanut butter frosted chocolate cookies, all for just $19.99. Perfect for game day or any day here in Buckeye Nation. Order your Donato's Buckeyes Cravings Combo today. More pizza, more cookies, more Buckeyes. Donato's. Gotta love more.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to our show this week as Ohio State gets ready to begin the season hosting Texas on Saturday. Time for our Inside Access with Kroger. A reminder that Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. Coach, I know you've been asked about this a lot in the weeks leading up to this, but with an opponent, game one, different elements but similar as far as coaching staff and things like that, how do you go about trying to diagnose as much as you can what Texas will present on both sides of the ball?
Well, you watch everything. And, we probably overanalyze things too much, just looking at different things. And when you get to this point of the week and this point of, your preparation, you can probably overdo it, And so at the end of the day, we got to let our guys play fast and violent. And that's the most important thing. And let them think clearly. It's our job as coaches to come up with a plan that gives our guys an advantage but allows them to play fast. So what does that mean? It's not easy, but it's got to be simple. And, that's the art of the coach. It's not always what the coach knows. It's what the players know and what they need to know to get their job done. And so then we have to have contingency plans for, we start to see a curveball, because we're going to see some curveballs. They're going to have some different things. They'll have some gadgets early on. They're going to take their shots, and we have to be ready to adapt to those types of things and maybe see some things that we haven't prepared for. I mean, they've had a lot of time to prepare. But at the end of the day, we got to do what our guys can do and allow them to play fast, because that's what will matter in the end.
Coach, the mechanics of the play calling, last year it seemed like Chip was talking to Will. How does that work this year? Does Brian give the play to Billy and then Billy down to Julian? Or, how does that whole mechanics of that work?
Yeah, so we all have access to Julian's headset, myself, Billy, and Brian. And so we're going to do a little bit of both based on how, where we are on the drive, if it's the start of drive, if it's after a timeout, if it's in between the series. But it's very good for the quarterback coach to be able to communicate to the quarterback. They're in the meetings together. There's certain tips that they need to give them. So a lot of it will be communicated through Brian, but there'll be other things that are communicated through Billy. So we've spent a lot of time talking about this. I do have access to the quarterback, which I said that was dangerous, so I'm going to try to stay off of that and just only talk to him when he's over in the sideline, so I'll let those guys handle it.
Now, when you go fast, is it a code? Does he have a wristband that he looks at, like a G4, so to speak, where you're looking, at a certain type of play to get that play in fast when you're trying to go? Or, Julian calling his own plays?
No, he's not calling his own plays. I'll wait a few years on that. But now that we can do coach-to-player communication, it's a lot easier to relay things through the quarterback. In the past, as you know, it was more signal-based. So once they made that change, it allowed just about all of it to now go through through the quarterback. And we have to have signals available in case that goes down, which would be a huge challenge. But so we do have signals, but now really all of it goes through the quarterback.
Similar or different as far as the communication on the defensive side?
Yeah, same thing. We have to be aware, of a couple things. One, how fast they're going to communicate, what's going in the game. Two, when you're at home and you're on defense, it gets really loud on third down. And that's one thing that we need big time in this game, is the crowd to be really loud on third down to create problems on any down, but third down in particular. And so we have to make sure we're communicating very well. And the coach-to-player communication comes in through Sonny.
And that's kind of, defense is always reacting to personnel. First, you got to identify what they have in, whether it's 2 backs, 2 tight ends, 4 wide receivers, so to speak. It's how you're going to counter that with the defense. So you got to have a guy that's sharp, understands their personnel and what they're trying to do.
That's it, yeah. That's all part of the routine, and that was even why we went out there and kind of went through all of that on Saturday with the mock game. A lot of it was for the players, so that the players know what to expect. They know what halftime's like. They know what it's like before the game, what it's going to be like on the sideline. But just as important is the rhythm of the coaches, who's in the box, who's looking for personnel, who's relaying the information. That's on the sidelines. What's the operation of communicating to the players the adjustments? So that's all part of the process, which is why we spent so much time on that mock game Saturday.
You mentioned Sonny Styles, the linebacker. He's the 6th guy to wear the block O. He'll have that this year. If you would just talk about what has gotten him to the point to where those honors fit right with him.
As we know, Ohio State has amazing traditions, and the reason why we're all able to be a part of something like this, even a game like this, in the Horseshoe, one of the more anticipated games for an opening game, maybe in the history of the Horseshoe, right? People have talked about that. But why? Well, it's because of the tradition. It's because of all the people that have come before, the great teams, the great coaches, but obviously the great players. So for us to be able to add to the tradition of the Block O, we wanted to make sure it was really significant. And so when the NCAA and college football allowed us to go to the number 0. At first it was like, all right, who's going to have it? But then as you look at it, it's not just a 0, it's the Block O. It's just like the Block O. And so we weren't just going to, give that to anybody. It had to be an award. And so when you think about Bill Willis and what he stood for, and being from Columbus and everything that he went through, you talk about toughness, you talk about accountability, you talk through just character. And so we started that tradition. So Lorenzo, Styles, has 2 great sons. He and Laverne have done a great job with Sonny. They've done a great job with Lorenzo. And, Sonny really is all Buckeye. He loves his teammates. He loves what it means to be a Buckeye. He comes from a lineage of Buckeyes. And now that his brother's on the team, he's just a perfect candidate for this job. And I know he's honored to have it.
Has he turned 21 yet?
Right. When you look at our team and our leadership, we are young. We are young. And that was one of the things we talked about this offseason. We got to grow up.
Yeah.
We can only grow up so fast, but we have to grow up and mature. This is a guy who's very, very mature, and the way he handles himself, he's sometimes you listen to him, looks like he's sounds like he's 35 years old, but he's young, and he forewent his senior year.
Yeah.
So but just an amazing young man, and somebody we all can be proud of.
Buckeye fans, this season, Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, including tickets, sideline passes, and trips to a postseason game. 3 drawings, 12 prizes. Register today and every day at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the sponsor of our weekly show that we will continue with in a moment on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You put up with a lot, but you always hold it down for your people. You are strong. You are fearless. You are the baddest on the block. You are an elbow grease factory, a force of nature. You are not to be reckoned with. You are a ride or die, a powerhouse of productivity. You are a fighter, and Modelo is your reward. You've earned every last drop of this rich golden lager, so raise it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Keep your summer fun going at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now through September 2nd, get 1.99 APR financing on a powerful new 25 Tundra or $3,000 customer cash. Excludes TRD Pro. Or you can lease a new well-equipped 25 Tundra SR Crew Max for just $419 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeyes sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. The season beginning on Saturday with the Buckeyes hosting Texas. That will be a 12 noon kickoff. We'll be in the air at 10:30 with all of our pregame shenanigans from the Horseshoe. And Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com, an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. This certainly was a game they'll create for an outstanding recruiting platform, one would think, Coach.
A lot of guys coming in, some great recruits, and what a great environment for them to come see and be a part of. Every time you visit the school, there's a different experience, and this is to see why you come to a place like Ohio State is. You get a chance to play in an environment like this, which is unlike any other place in the country. So what a cool opportunity for these guys. And we got a lot of people, so our staff will be working hard to make sure it's all organized.
I'll bet.
Yeah, that staff, I mean, it's unbelievable what they have to do, not only, just from the little things, arranging all their flights or tickets and, parents and name tags and making everybody feel like they're special. Like, hey, the number one reason, we're here is for you. It's hard to do that when you got 100 guys coming in, but your staff finds a way to get that done.
Yeah, not only that, but it's hard to do when you're trying to win a game like this. You know what I mean? Geez, it's all we can do to win this game. And then, we have folks coming in. But that's part of college football. It's what makes it great. I mean, you're always doing – you're always multitasking. There's always a lot going on, and that's what makes it fun. And for them to come see us play in this type of environment and be a part of it and be on the field before the game, it's a great selling point for our guys.
Kind of connected to that, out of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions, Aaron in Florida asking, how important is it to win over the parents in the recruiting process versus the actual recruit?
Yeah, it's always been important. I would say it's even become more important recently. There's a lot more involved in recruiting than it used to be. It's changed very, very much. So, but more than ever, we want to bring in great families and great people. It's always been important. Woody said a long time ago, you win with people, and that has not changed. But I would say it's probably more important now than ever. We're not going to get into all the reasons why, but we really try to make sure we bring in the right people, and a big part of that are the parents. There's just so much going on today with, these players. There's money involved, there's social media, there's just a lot that comes with it. And I think we have great parents here. We've done a great job making sure that, everybody who comes into the family is somebody that's bought into our culture, who we are, and what it means to be a Buckeye.
It's hard really to recruit because, some of these recruits, they want to get their money back. They want to get paid right away. But yet, as a, running your own program, you want to make sure the guys that have worked hard and actually proved it out there in the field, that they get taken care of. How do you balance all that?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. because culture is the most important thing. We're not in a situation where it's win a season and then we get 2 or 3 years to rebuild. It doesn't work like that around here. Try losing a game. So you have to make sure that we're looking at this as hard as we can for the long term, but also know like we have to win right now, and that's the best way I can put it. And so a big part of that is making sure that guys in the locker room understand that this is something where it's a meritocracy. I mean, what you can do on the field, what you earn in the field, you're going to be rewarded for that type of play. Now, we also have to be competitive and bring in the best players in the country. So that's where the balance comes into play, and it's something that has been going on now here for a couple of years, and we're continually working through and adapting to make sure that we're the best in the country at it.
Not only have the wins piled up, but the recognitions for the academic progress rate. That has to be a great point of pride, given the load that these young men have to handle with both football and what they have to do in the classrooms.
Yeah. People don't talk about that as much anymore, but it's still a very, very important part of the process. And yeah, we're proud that we're national champs. Also proud that our AP year score was 1,000. We had just had another semester over a 3.0 GPA. These guys are great young men on the field, but also young men that everybody in Buckeye Nation can be proud of. When they go out in the community after they're done playing, certainly they'll go play on in the NFL, but they're also going to be great people in the community who are great ambassadors of the program, great husbands, great citizens. They'll be great in corporate America, and that's important because the standard's high here. You can't just go out and go downtown and just run wild when you're a football player here at Ohio State. You're held to a higher standard. And the guys understand that, and a part of that is making sure they're doing their part in the classroom.
And it's an all-day thing. I mean, most of those guys, with you guys practice in the afternoon, they're going to classes. 2 or 3 classes in the morning. Come over here early afternoon, get ready for 4 o'clock practice. You got meetings probably at 2 o'clock. So it's get out of here maybe 7:38 after training table. It's an all-day thing being a college football athlete.
All-day sucker, no question. And the sooner you get to bed, the faster you wake up in the morning, and you got to lift in there, and you got a bunch of other, side things you got to do, like watch film on your own and do those types of things. And I think what you find, though, is that, we all do, well, not all of us, but most of us do better under a structure. And so we really try to make sure that structure and that routine fits in. And the routine changes when you get into classes. We started classes this Tuesday, so we went from practicing in the morning to, practicing in the afternoon. And making sure that everything's organized with their classes, and making sure that when they get in here, they're able to have a good meal. They get kind of their equipment organized. They get their pads in. They get taped up. They get their film work done so that they're not just a mess. We say like an unmade bed running on the field. Grabbing their pads and their shoes are untied and they're just running out. Young players do that, but the more organized you can be in the classroom, it's just amazing how when you prepare that way, you'll find yourself organized when you're in football. And so. When you are, from when you wake up to when you go to bed at night, like you're saying, if every hour is being used up, which, by the way, every minute matters when you're preparing for a game like this, you better be organized. And there's no time for much other than football and academics.
Yep.
I mean, that's about it. If you want to go play video games, if you want to go have a social scene, if you want to go party like that, this isn't the place for you. It's fine. There's a lot of other places you can go, but at Ohio State, we're trying to be the best in the world at what we do. So there's sacrifices that have to be made. And, as guys get older, their time management becomes better and better.
Gina from Sunbury, out of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions, and I think we know the answer to most of this. How much sleep do you normally get the night before a game, and do you need to set an alarm?
I set an alarm, but I'm usually up before that every morning. I actually usually sleep well the night before the game. When I don't sleep well is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and even a little bit of Wednesday. Because that's when all the work gets in to make sure that everything's right. You can't do anything the night before the game. It's already done. And so I usually sleep good on a Friday night, as long as my son plays okay in his game. But other than that, yeah, I mean, you have got to be on your stuff on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then today's a Thursday. We're cleaning things up, but like the decision's already been made. You can't add plays at this point. Like it's too late. The pads are off. So. That's where I don't sleep very well at all early in the week, and I try to get my sleep later on in the week. So if you see me in a press conference like on a Monday or Tuesday and I look like a wreck, it's because I didn't sleep the night before because I was trying to make sure the game plan's right.
I remember Coach Truss was saying that he got up at 5:08. I don't know why he said that time, but that was 5:08, and then he'd be over here before 6, and that was his day. Get to bed at 11:30 before midnight, and boom, 5:08 again. Is that kind of the way your plans are? Just Do you need an alarm clock to wake up during the week?
No. There's only so many hours in the week. And we've tried to steal hours. There's actually a float tank in the building that they say for every half an hour of sleep, it's like 4 hours of sleep or whatever the ratio is. So once the season gets going and it gets crazy, we try to steal some hours there. But, you got to maximize every hour you possibly have. And when these weeks start to add up on you, or maybe you have a trip across the country and then there's, you get in at, 6, 7 in the morning. And then, you got to, with no sleep, you got to go put a whole Sunday in, and then all these types of things add up during the season. Now we're not there right now, but you got to maximize every moment you have.
Coach, thanks as always. All the best come Saturday.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Ohio State head coach Ryan Day, and join Coach Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airs Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com. Next, we will hear from Ohio State captain Sonny Styles, and we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the Scarlet and Gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS-TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. Welcome back to our show this week. It's our pleasure to talk with Sonny Styles, team captain, also the sixth Buckeye to wear the Block O going into the season. What was it like, Sonny, when you found out you were going to get the Block O this year?
Man, it was an honor. I think the biggest thing I thought about was just thinking about the guys that wore that number for me. And, I remember being a freshman, Cameron Babb got it. That was a guy I looked up to. Next year it was Xavier Johnson, another guy I looked up to. Then obviously last year with Cody Simon, that's another guy I looked up to. So these are the guys, as I'm growing in the program, these are the guys I want to be like. So now I have the honor to wear it myself. So it's just amazing. So happy to do it. I'm hoping I can set the example for some young guys in the program.
Sonny, when you watched last year's game, you certainly introduced yourself to Arch Manning in a violent way last year. You got after him a little bit, and I'm sure that was something that you kind of remembered, and he'll probably remember when you guys play again on Saturday.
Yeah, I remember he got in there on that play for we called it a little fumble rooski or whatever. Yeah, Lathan came downhill, hit him pretty hard.
Yeah, he only played one play because of that.
Yeah, that was a tough one play for him.
That was, yeah. When you think about playing in a game like this in week one, how did everything that went on in camp this summer kind of get you guys tailored to be ready for this?
Yeah, I think it started as soon as we ended the season last year. Just the focus was on the next season. We're focused on, setting the tone for our new season and just proving a point. I think this team has a chip on the shoulder. Went through a very hard winter training, went through a very hard spring ball, and same with the summer. The summer was very hard. Camp was awesome. We got to compete against each other each and every day, getting each other better, and now we're just ready to go fly around. And I think guys are excited. We're excited to finally go hit someone that's not our own teammate, so that'll be fun.
Now, will you have the green dot, the communication in your helmet, so you're going to be calling everything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I did it for most of the year last year, so it's nothing too new, so I'm used to it by this point.
Yeah, I thought maybe Cody did it for a while there, but I think you took over after a point.
Yes, sir.
And Arvell Reese, how does it like working next to him? I mean, you guys are an intimidating pair.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. I think just seeing him grow from as a freshman, I remember a freshman year, he was playing D-line, D-end for most of his freshman year at camp. So, to see the steps he's taken as a linebacker, it's amazing. He's a very cerebral player. I think sometimes people don't realize that. Despite how physical he is, he's a very smart football player as well. So it's going to be awesome. Obviously we got Peyton Pierce, too, who's another great linebacker. So the linebacker room's great. So I'm excited to see what we can do this year.
Sonny, what's it been like to implement everything from Coach Patricia this year?
It's been awesome. Coach Patricia's great. I think he's a great teacher of the game. And, I'm excited to see. I think he's going to put us in position to make plays. And he's made it really easy for us. I think guys have been picking up stuff really fast, and it's easy to understand.
I'm sure it's the same way with James Laurinaitis, your linebacker coach, just being in a room with him and obviously what he was able to do here at Ohio State throughout his NFL career. I mean, you guys probably on the edge of your seat listening to what he has to say.
Yeah, just trying to soak in all the knowledge as possible. I mean, he shows us tapes all the time of when he used to play, whether it was here or in the NFL. And I think something funny he does, every once in a while he'll show us some of his worst plays. And he'll be guys, I understand football's hard. It's not always going to be pretty, but you got to just play the next play. So, hearing that from him just gives you a lot of confidence to go out there and play fast.
But you grew up around that, too, with your dad being a great linebacker. Did you get a second film session when you go home or, when you talk to him?
I watch film with him actually a few times a week, honestly. Usually we come in here in the morning and watch a little bit of practice, and he gives me a few nuggets. So I got a lot of good information coming in.
Sonny, what's it like to watch what happens on the defensive line, how they affect things so that you guys at linebacker can make the plays you have to make?
Oh, man. Obviously, you gotta love your defensive line because they do a lot of dirty work. And, sometimes it doesn't go noticed. They don't make every single tackle, but our defense line's been great. I think guys have really stepped up, stepping into new roles, whether it be stepping into a leadership role or just stepping into a starting position role in general. And I'm super excited. We got a lot of monsters up front.
And you had C.J. Hicks kind of, bouncing back and forth between linebacker now. Seems to be mostly with defensive line. How has that progression gone for C.J.?
Man, it's been great. He's a very talented pass rusher. I think we've all knew that. I think this year, kind of transition, he just had to prove, could he be able to stop the run at the defense end, and he's proved that. He's very strong, very physical. Whether it's setting the edge or hitting a puller, he's shown he can do that on a consistent basis. So everyone knows he can pass rush. So I'm excited to see that. I think he's going to do a really good job with it all.
You know, Sonny, you've been through it a lot, but you still get the chills and the thrills when you walk into the Horseshoe?
Oh, yeah, every time. I think you got to be a little nervous. I think that's part of the game. But once you get out there, you make that first hit, and now you're just going. No, it's just clockwork.
You got two young linebackers in your room, T.J. Offord, Riley Pettijohn, both those guys freshmen. And tell you, they both looked the part too. Will those guys maybe have a role on special teams throughout the course of the year?
Oh, yeah, they definitely will. Like you said, they look the role. They definitely don't look like freshmen. They're both about 6'3", 235. They're almost the same size as me and Arvell as freshmen. So they're going to be amazing. I think they're going to do great on special teams. You know, that's kind of where you earn your stripes. You know, I remember being a freshman. I think my first start on the special teams was the second game. I forget who it was against, but that's kind of how you earn your role. You make a play on special teams, you find a way on defense, and it just keeps going from there.
What are you seeing from the offense that you're going up against in practice?
Man, you know, obviously they're talented. They got so many different threats all across the board. You're seeing a lot of confidence from Julian. You know, I think Lincoln's been doing a great job as well. But you know, obviously Julian's not a starter, but I'm excited to see him work. I just think he's had a huge confidence jump from last year to this year, so I'm excited for him and the whole offense. And I will say the offensive line looks great. They got so many great pieces all across the board, a lot of guys who are capable of starting.
Sonny, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. All the best come Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And the Ryan Day Show, presented by Roosters, has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by the American Dairy Association Mideast. On behalf of Skip Mossick, Colin Berger, Cole Bartimus, and for Jim Lachane, Coach Day, and Sonny Styles, this is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, you can't keep an eye on everything unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.